Hi, my name is Emmaline Thereau, and I am a part of the KVCC program, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a seared ribeye, garlic mashed potatoes, and caramelized onions.
Alrighty, first things first, we are gonna get our onions going. So here, I'm gonna get our just lightly sliced, thin sliced white onions. Get them going in a nice hot pan. I'm gonna let them get just a little bit of heat on them first. While that's going, we can take our diced yellow potatoes, throw those in. Those are gonna be for our mash. I like to take those until they're just fork tender anymore and they get a little gluey, which really is not great for a good mashed potato. Here I have just a little bit of aged whiskey and about a tablespoon of sugar. That's just gonna help get a good caramelization on those onions. And the onions are gonna have a lot of natural sugar in them already, so as you just keep going, they're gonna break down and they're gonna become a really sweet, not traditional raw onion taste. So we're just gonna let those go. About a medium high heat. If you wanna get them quick, you can actually do them in a crock pot. If you wanna do bulk and let them go on low all day, they come out awesome. Then over here, we are gonna get probably a closer to high heat for this awesome ribeye we are gonna get going. I pulled this out about 45 minutes before I was ready to cook it. Just let it come up to a warmer temp, not so cold in your fridge. It's gonna help you get a good sear. And then you wanna take your paper towel, just pat off any excess moisture. Get it nice and dry. Make sure you get your edges, that good fat cap. Pull everything off. Then comes the good stuff. We're gonna do a pretty good coating of salt and pepper on both sides. And my favorite way to do my steak is less seasoning when you're cooking and then seasoning my cutting board. So you're gonna take that, pat nice and good into this side, flip, go back in with some more salt, back in with pepper, go in, tap in again. I'm gonna turn back and rinse our hands off real quick. And then definitely important, a high point, smoke point oil. We're just gonna drizzle right across. This is gonna give us that really good sear on the outside of our steak. Flip around, press all that in again, a little bit more oil. Make sure it's all evenly distributed. And then we are gonna go right over to our nice hot pan and just leave that. Let it be. It will get a nice crust. Then we're gonna go on to our cutting board. And this is where the magic happens. I'm gonna take that same salt, go down to about the size of your steak. A little bit more coarse black pepper. And then I have some beautiful fresh rosemary. I'm just gonna lay 2 sprigs of that right down. This is especially nice, especially when using rosemary, to not get those woody pieces of rosemary in your teeth and in your steak. They're not always the most enjoyable to chew on. We're gonna give our onions a little mix, and then just 1 slab of butter down. And when our steak is ready, we're gonna put it right on that. It's like a sponge. It's gonna absorb all of that flavor. Give our onions a little mix. You'll start to see browning in the corner of your pan. That's fond. That's where all your good flavor is, especially in these onions. Here I just have some hot water. I'm just gonna do a little bit. And it's gonna really start to deglaze and pull up all that good flavor. And you're just gonna keep going back and forth until you get a good color on those. Our steak is still going over here on the side. Starting to see that color is about halfway up. I prefer a good rare, medium rare. I like a lot of pink in my steak, so I'm not gonna go too long. Add a little bit of salt to those onions. Helps bring out that sweet flavor and bring them all the way through. All right, we're gonna let those go for just a minute. Grab a fork, check our potatoes. I had these parboiled before, so they are just about there now. We're gonna let them go for just another minute. And then as soon as these are done, we are going to go drain them and let them sit in that colander and steam off a lot of that extra liquid. That's another thing that's gonna get you mushy potatoes. Keep an eye on your onions. Keep adding water as need be. I'm gonna turn these down just a hair. You start to see that really deep, nice brown color on them. Now let's go check on our steak. To check. I'd like a little bit more of a sear on that. Gets you a really nice crunchy coating there to sit on our butter. All right. And one thing to keep in mind when you are doing caramelized onions, you are going to see shrinkage. You're going to start with a whole bunch. You're gonna start with a lot more onion than you're gonna get at the end. So I did about a half of a decently large white onion here, and they'll just cook down quite drastically. But if you get them really nice and caramelized at the end, top them off with a little bit of butter, you're gonna have a really nice, sweet, jammy onion that is gonna go great with your steak. Right, we're gonna pull off our potatoes here. Drain them, and we're gonna leave them in the sink. And then for our potatoes, we're gonna grab another small pot here. Get that just warm. And here I have some cream. It's really depending on how many potatoes you have. I like to go bit by bit adding liquid into my potatoes. That way you really have good control over how much liquid you're getting in there. If you like a more firm potato, then add less liquid, whether that's milk, heavy cream, butter especially. Right, we're gonna go back to our steak now. I think she's ready to flip. Oh yeah. I'm gonna flip that, let it go on the other side, turn it down just a little bit. Your second side might not have as much of that crust on it, but that's where a lot of the rest of your cooking through is gonna go. Let's test our onions, see if they need any more salt. I think they are just about there. Just gonna turn them down a little lower. Add a tiny, tiny bit more water. Just to pull up what's left in the bottom of that pan. Get all that good darkness right there in the corner. Bring it all down, let it set. The moisture from the onions will pull it up. And then I'm just gonna go in with a small pat of butter. Probably just about a teaspoon, right on top. Our potatoes have steamed off for the most part. I like a skin-on mashed potato. It's not for everyone, but we've got that warm cream now. Not too hot, but adding it in warm will help you get a better mash. Just a little bit of garlic that's gotten fragrant. I'm gonna shut our steak off and let it sit in that warm pan for just a minute to keep going while we mash our potatoes. Something about skin on potatoes is just rustic and homey, and I probably added 3 tablespoons of warm cream. Just gonna give them a rough mash and see how much I wanna add at the end. We're just gonna keep going bit by bit. I haven't added any salt or pepper to this yet. So we'll get that going in at the end. gonna go in with just a little bit more of that warm cream. Just keep folding it in. If you like a more fluffy, not as thick potato, you definitely go in with a hand mixer or even a KitchenAid bowl and a whisk. I like a little bit of texture to mine. All right. We are gonna set these to the side and let them keep nice and warm. Pull our steak off. We're gonna put it right on that butter. I guess it wants to go to the other side. A lot of the time, if you don't want some of that curling, you can score your fat cap. This steak in particular didn't have a very large fat cap. And we have got just beautiful golden onions there. All right. I'm gonna pull out our plate. Grab a nice spoonful of these potatoes. We are gonna get our gloves and get ready to cut our steak. The longer you let it rest, the more it's gonna have time to absorb those flavors. We're gonna take just a little bit of butter and stick it right there in the well of our potatoes. Do a final seasoning with a little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt for good measure. All right. Now we are gonna get into our steak. See how you don't have a whole bunch of juice here? If you cut into it right after you take it off the heat, you're gonna lose all that juice from the inside of your steak, and it's gonna be a tougher, drier steak at the end. We're gonna pull our rosemary to the side. Just get a little bit more of that butter on the back there. And then we're gonna slice. I like to do nice thin slices. You get that high heat, a lot of your fat is gonna melt off into the pan and it's gonna absorb right back up into that steak when you let it rest. And it's gonna be nice and juicy. And then you've got a little bit of this juice that's coming out as you cut, which really isn't avoidable. But when you go to plate, you just take that and put it right underneath your steak, or even just a drizzle on top, and you are gonna have a nice, juicy steak. Got our plate back. I'm gonna take these nice slices of steak right here. All right. And then we've got those nice, deep, almost chocolate covered onions. And they are gonna be so sweet. We're gonna lay them right here. They're gonna go wicked good with that rich rosemary flavor and all your butter you've gotten. And there you are.